Hi guys, welcome back to the Boeing Bookshelf.
We are going to finally review
Brent Weeks, The Broken Eye.
So, that's a big ass book. Good grief.
What was it, 45 hours? Something like that?
God, yes. About as long as the Throne of Glass? Throne of Glass, oh my god.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. Too many Game of Thrones books. Anyways, okay, so.
I know one of your biggest issues with it is the books in general have been complex, and it gets so much more complex in this book.
So let's give a little summary of what this book's going into. In this one, we are still following the same amount of characters. Let's see, Kip's
starting to come into his own.
Yeah. Gavin is up shit creek without a paddle in a sinking boat.
And gets worse and worse the farther you get into the book.
Oh my god. Andros. Sue me. Andros is still as conniving and manipulative and scheming and horrible and evil and an asshole.
In this one, you definitely start to understand his motives a little bit more, thanks to Kip.
Yeah. Things have kind of taken a weird turn with Tia.
Very weird.
Yeah. Liv and the color prints aren't quite in this one as much, but I feel like Liv is understanding that she's made a very, very bad choice. Very, very, very bad life choice.
Yes, definitely seems like that.
Yeah, color prints really wasn't in this one much, if at all. Let's see. Yeah, no, Karis is her things have become upheaved and awful.
This one definitely, the whole war with the color prints kind of seems like it's stalled out a little bit during the events. I mean, it's still going on, but it's not the main focus in this book.
I feel like parts, though, are written that are taking place during some of the events in Blinding Knife, and it's kind of going back and retelling what these characters were doing while it was following the color prints.
That's definitely possible. This one definitely has a lot more of the Nine Kings cards and the weird mechanics with those.
Which are still freaking confusing.
Yes. That is one of my biggest issues with the book, is when Brent Weeks does have a scene of one of the Nine King cards, it's not always apparent right off the bat that, oh, you're really reliving the moment that card's depicting. So every now and then, get a little bit of whiplash going, oh wait, no, this isn't what's currently happening, this is technically a flashback. Or occasionally a premonition type scenario.
Overall, the book was really good.
Yes. If you do have some issues with really complex books and tending to make you overthink while you're trying to read, it's definitely a hard one to do.
We had an hour or two long discussion after finishing this book the other day.
She definitely ended up feeling like she was stupid because she's definitely more emotionally driven. These books aren't quite as heavy in emotion as definitely not most YA or romance books. So, and then with how complex it is, it's really easy to end up, while you're reading even, constantly thinking to the point where you're not quite paying attention to what you're reading.
Yeah, my biggest thing is that, to me, it's emotionally monotone. Some of the scenes with Gavin, some of them really did, I would get kind of, anxious because shit was about to go sideways with Gavin real bad. But it was so minor that it was almost like I could overlook it. And it's like, well, maybe I'm not feeling what I thought I was feeling. I was like, you know, that anticipation, that dread, that adrenaline, I was missing. And sometimes I kind of feel like maybe these books are just way over my head, and I'm just maybe a little too stupid to to understand and read these books. I mean, it's definitely complex high fantasy, and I have an extremely hard time reading high fantasy, and I hate admitting that because it does make me feel stupid. I don't know.
On the emotions part, this one definitely is one of the more stagnant when it comes to emotion. I think the first two you didn't have anywhere near as much of an issue on it being.
Well, no, because they were also going through war.
Right. This one, most of the conflict is more political, and it's harder to actually read the emotions off of them because like half the time they're faking emotions.
Yeah, and it's like, and I was telling him, it's like, dude, like I'm trying to figure out, you know, everyone's motive, everyone's how they're working, what their MO is, but you know, and trying to find their who they are, what they are, and I feel like Brent Weeks hasn't really given us enough information. And I know that, like, with things like with Kip, he doubts himself. He's always doubting himself, and he doesn't even know himself. I mean, he's a 16-year-old kid. And there's one scene between him and Tysus where it's like, no, Tysus is about to stab him in the back. This whole thing surrounding Kip and Tysus is a ploy to get Kip unaware. But yeah, so it's like I like things that I was expecting. He ended up telling me, you know, well, no, that's not the case. So I'm just having a really hard time seeing what's going on. There's I can't get any foreshadowing. Typically authors are either really decent or really bad at giving foreshadowing. And I mean bad as in it's way too blatant. Like I can almost guarantee where this is going. And that's kind of where it's like, no, dude, you did a little too heavy on foreshadowing. Your foreshadowing was really bad. Or it's really good where it's very vague. Like the foreshadowing is there, but you don't quite know where it's going. Like with Jennifer L. Armentrout's and The Brightest Night. Foreshadowing was set up. I knew what was potentially going to happen with this character. It did not play out the way I thought it was going to. I'm not getting a goddamn thing like that out of this book.
If you reread them, there is foreshadowing, but it is some of the most subtle foreshadowing I've ever seen. There's several scenes where it's foreshadowing something that I didn't catch until after the third time reading it.
Goddamn, how many times have you read this book?
First one I have now read 5 times. Second one 4. This one I've read 3 times now.
Shit.
I reread all of them each time a new book comes out. Yes, they're extremely complex, and if you enjoy them, they are definitely worth rereading because they're so complex that there's always going to be something you've missed.
Like, there's a new Luxon now, which I think has already been mentioned before, but it's really coming to play now. And I'm like, oh my god, there's whites, there's reds, yellows, sub-reds, super violets,
No actual violet.
Orange, green. Now there's black. And it's like, the hell?
And peril.
Oh god, and peril.
And there's still more to come.
How am I supposed to keep all this shit straight? You see what I mean?
Maybe you need to start taking notes. I'm kidding. You're driving while we're listening to this usually.
So, see what I mean? Like, I kind of feel like these books are maybe just way over my head, and I'm not the right audience for this book. And because I do read a lot of YA, and I do read a lot of paranormal romance. So, it's all, like you said, more emotionally driven. The dread is there, and that's kind of what I enjoy the most is, that gut-clenching, like, oh shit moments. And like the emotions that are fueling either the person's actions, whether it be rage or fear, excitement. I love those moments where it's like I can't stop reading, I can't stop listening, and it's almost like I'm missing that with Harry. Like I'm missing something vital here. But I will say Brent Weeks is an a-hole, mainly because of the shit he did to Gavin. That's not even right, man. I will say this. It's the only thing that's kind of actually pissed me off is the fact that I really think there's something seriously wrong with Brent Weeks for the shit he's done to Gavin. Because in my world, in the books that I read, Gavin would have made that hard choice. Just gonna say, Gavin would have made that hard choice. He's an a-hole. Brent Weeks.
On top of what he did to Kip he ended up deciding to get rid of it, but Gunner's Apprentice.
Oh, yeah. No, don't even get me started on that shit.
But he did decide to remove that. He just decided to be a little bit sadistic and put it out there like it was an actual tie-in, not a deleted scene.
Brent Weeks. I mean, your writing is really good. I am going to keep going with this. Just know that there are some things that, man, you're an a-hole, man. There's just something.
It is smaller. So next one will be the Blood Mirror.
I'm scared. Just gonna question my intelligence more.
I think the 5th book's when it really starts adding stuff. I haven't read it yet, so I don't know how much extra's added. Yes, in Broken Eye, there's also a whole new organization that gets introduced, the Broken Eye.
Yeah, the members of that one was a shocker.
I didn't even see that one coming. I was actually kind of quizzing her before we had finished, because pretty much every book there's one of the, not necessarily main character, but a major character that Brent Weeks has, to where they have to make a choice to do something that's completely against what they would do based on our knowledge of them. And so I was quizzing her on who she thought it was going to be. It wasn't who she thought.
No, because he's so minor of a character, really, that
He's minor, but he's not minor.
He had more parts. He wasn't quite as minor in 1 or 2.
Yeah.
This one, he's very minor.
To some degree.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's good. It's a good book, and the writing is really good. I mean, Brent Weeks is to be able to have made a world this complex, and with, God, how many characters is this series or this book is following?
Tia, very minorly Liv, Color Prince, Gavin, Karis, the White, Andros, God, there's even more than that. Most of the ones, Iron Fist,
Fist.
Most of the ones outside of that start getting a lot more minor, but
yeah, to be able to make a world this complex and this detailed, and especially with the magical abilities that they have, is highly, and goddamn, it's fucking amazing.
Yeah, there's a reason why it would be 2 years in between books.
How he keeps his shit straight, I don't have a goddamn clue.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's just it's not, and this isn't the first time that I felt this way. I've felt this way since the first book with Blinding Knife, Black Prism.
Yeah.
That these books are just way out of my league, and I'm not smart enough for them.
You're smart enough for them. You have the bad habit of trying to think about it while we're listening to it, so you're missing some stuff.
But
or you're trying too hard to try and catch everything all at once, because there's always going to be stuff you're going to miss.
Obviously.
You have to come to terms with that. You're not going to catch everything in one sitting, one reading.
This is making me not want to reread it. Which I feel bad because he's read countless books of mine. And this is one that, I've fully committed to trying, and I am struggling so bad with it. But that's The Broken Eye, and that's my thoughts on it. Good book.
Definitely complex, and definitely for some people it's going to be too complex to where they're going to have a hard time getting into it. Doesn't mean you're stupid.
That's debatable. But check it out. If y'all have read it, let us know in the comment section what y'all feel about it. If you've read it and had a book fail it because it was too complex, there was way too much shit going on. It was just couldn't keep shit straight, or was emotionally too monotone for you. Let us know. I would be happy to know I'm not the only one suffering from feelings of inadequacy. Right? That's the word I want to use. Yeah. So.
You also have to keep in mind that while we've been listening to this, you've been reading dozens of books, and you're going long spurts in between listening to it. So it is more likely for you to forget details that you already had.
Yeah, there's that. But anyways, let us know in the comment section what y'all thought. If y'all think like me, or if you think like him, or whatnot. But yeah, that was Broken Eye by Brent Weeks, book 3 of the Lightbringer series.
Soon to start book 4, Blood Mirror, and like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully this didn't deter you too much, or at least my bitching. Until next time, guys.
Bye.
Bye.